Another way of using context clues is to look for synonyms. A context clue is often available in the form of a synonym, which is a word that means the same or almost the same as the unknown word. A synonym may appear anywhere in a passage to provide the same meaning as the unknown word. Here's a cartoon with an example. My doctor said smoking could terminate my life, but I told him, everybody's life has to end sometime. If you didn't know what the word terminate meant, you could use the context clue or the synonym end later in the passage. They mean the same thing. Down here, you're supposed to underline. For example, the italicized word in number 1 was enhance. Fresh garlic may not enhance the breath, but it certainly does improve spaghetti sauce. So improve is the synonym for enhance that helps you understand what it means. Number 2, flippant is italicized. Disrespectful is the synonym. It helps you understand what flippant means. Although the salesperson tried to assuage the angry customer, there was no way to soothe her. Soothe is the synonym. They gave you the answers down here, but you still had to underline them. On the next page, you had to identify synonyms within the sentence. Many of you just chose any word you liked that meant the same thing. There had to be a connection, though. Speaking in front of a group disconcerts Alan. Even answering a question in class embarrasses him. That's the closest word that means the same thing as disconcerts. So the correct answer there would have been embarrasses. Remember, we had to identify a synonym inside of the item. It says each item below includes. So the synonym is somewhere in these two sentences. Number 2, because my friends had advised me to scrutinize the lease, I took time to examine all the fine print. Examine means the same thing as scrutinize. The presidential candidate vowed to discuss pragmatic solutions. Pragmatic here means a similar thing as practical. He said the American people want practical answers, not empty theory. Here the word that is italicized is obscure, and that is matching up with confusing in the first sentence. Number 5, condone is the italicized word, and overlook would be the synonym that tells you what it means. Number 6, indispensable is the italicized word. Necessary is the synonym. Managers should beware of having adversaries work together. Adversaries is a synonym for opponents. That's what you should have written, opponents. Number 8, advent of the computer, or arrival of mechanical equipment. There's some parallel structure going on there. Arrival and advent are synonyms. Number 9, benevolent is a synonym to charitable. Number 10, prevalent is a synonym to customary. The key idea there was to recognize that within that item, the synonym existed. You weren't coming up with your own. Next page on antonyms. Antonyms are about opposites. Instead of meaning the same thing, they mean exactly the opposite. For example, it's a special hearing aid. It lowers criticism and amplifies compliments. Note the word antonym, lowers, helps you figure out that amplifies must mean increase. Here we see lowers and amplifies. These are contrasting words. They mean the opposite. Helps you figure out the definition if you didn't know. So here, salutary, you may not know the word, but if we compare that to harmful, that's the antonym. Well, harmful is the opposite of beneficial. So if you chose hurtful, you were choosing the synonym, but you were asked to choose the antonym, which means the opposite of another word. On to the back. Impede is the italicized word, and advance would be the antonym. So here, impede means to block. Number 3, simulated, and the antonym would be real. So the correct definition would be made up, because it is the antonym of real. Number 1, succinct and long are antonyms. They mean opposite things. Since long is the opposite of brief, that gives you a clue as to what succinct means. Number 2, although investments in the stock market can be lucrative, they can also result in great financial loss. So lucrative and loss are the antonyms. Financially rewarding was the correct definition. Number 3, surreptitiously and openly are the antonyms. So secretly is the definition, since that's the opposite of openly. Last page. While Melba's apartment is decorated plainly, her clothing is very flamboyant. Which one of these is the opposite of plainly? Flashy. To keep healthy, older people need to stay active. Remaining stagnant results in loss of strength and health. Active and stagnant are the antonyms. So what is the opposite of active? That is inactive. Ambiguous and clear are antonyms. What is the opposite of clear? Unclear. Number 7, detriment and benefit are antonyms. What does detriment mean then? A drawback. Number 8, depreciate and increase are antonyms. Lose value is the definition. Number 9, meticulous and careless are antonyms. The opposite here is careful. Number 10, stringent and weak are the antonyms. Strict is the correct definition.